Alright guys, so it is Sunday night. We have a new week here. I may try to start doing some of these videos beginning Sunday night as opposed to a lot of the times just Monday or Tuesday morning. There's a lot of, market's really slow. Obviously, we have some movement, but it's very low stress right now. There's not really much going on, and so it's easy to sort of discuss things without getting too excited with what's going on, and we can really, the market is open, but it's essentially like it is closed in a sense because there's not really too much going on. So um, I feel like it's a nice time to discuss gold price action, right? So looking back, right, we did have one nice trade in here. Now I have been a little bit busy the last couple of days, so I wasn't up until about um, you know Tuesday. I wasn't really last Tuesday. I wasn't really too busy on the charts, but now I am um, have my full focus this week for the charts. So um, basically, what I'm saying is this move we did not catch any of this on the way down. Right? It's just sometimes if you're not focused, you don't want to try to get too involved. Right? So anyway, let's look at where we are right now. So if we pull up a weekly chart, I want to look at this, right? Okay, goes without saying we're still in an uptrend. That's not something to really discuss, but this range that we've been talking about, we're still within this range. Um, so now obviously we have a weekly resistance right here that we have closed underneath, right? This previous weekly candle. So we had a big push to the upside and big move down, small body but a long wick, right? So this doesn't mean that we are believing we're just going to reject this and move down, but for the time being, we are not going to be. Um, I think we're going to have to sort of pause a little bit. Maybe um, I'm looking for some deeper retracements into here at the moment. This level, maybe we don't resume our bullish price action until we get a larger scale pullback because if you look at just this here, right, we have this large move, and relative to the weekly chart, this is not very big. So anyway, we have just opened a new weekly candle. We have a very small bottom wick, and this is just really um, one of those little candles that you would see on maybe a 5-minute chart where you're at a little minor resistance level and price is just sort of kind of flirting with the level and nothing's really going on, right? So what I'm looking for with this, in order to confidently take another long position within this area, I want this weekly candle. Again, we have till Friday on this weekly candle, right? I want this weekly candle to establish a nice healthy bottom wick down into this range. We'll look at this in a lower time frame, but I want a nice healthy bottom wick, preferably into the 2363 level, just within this range, give or take, right? Um, and then I want to see price back above this support level that we have had marked for quite some time. And we can always adjust things as we go down on the time frame, but for now we're just looking at the weekly chart. And so then our candle would look something like um, this with a obviously a bottom wick, and then we can have a larger body and try to get a long position, maybe up to this wick and to new highs. So that's our weekly chart analysis. So if we go to the daily, there might not be too much to talk about. It's really just you know very bearish previous daily candle close, new candle. Obviously, we're going to open to the upside and make some sort of a top wick. It looks like, but um, anyway, let's go down to um, an hourly chart. But first, so what I'm saying is this could be something that maybe our uptrend, our nice nice swing to the upside, does not really take place um, until later in the week, maybe past Wednesday. It could be that sort of thing. But again, this is really the key level that I'm looking at the moment, right? Um, so two main scenarios, right? I may be a little scattered here, but just follow along. So um, we could see if from where we are now, if we start to immediately get a move to the upside without coming down below here first, right? If this is the bottom where we are now, we just start to retrace to the upside, I'm going to be more bearish, because then what I would expect is a move back down below this level and us to retest this key level as resistance and move lower back into this range, and then we're in this mess again. So this would be considered a fake out, right? But what I want, what I was saying earlier on the weekly chart, is I want a healthy bottom wick. So I want this, maybe it's today's daily candle, maybe it's the daily candle tomorrow afternoon when we get the opening of the Tuesday candle. Um, Maybe it's in the next 2 days. I want to see a movement down here, um, and then, right, the second, half of the week, the second 2/3 of the week, I would like to see that move back to the upside, and then we could either, depending on the setup, we could look for a long position somewhere down here within this level, or maybe if we come back up and we want it and we break above after reaching this level and we retest this as support, we could always do that. Sometimes I'm a little weary of just getting in a long position like right here on the initial pullback into this level, right? If you would just do something like this, right, and try to target up there, um, because I would much rather see a support actually be established instead of trying to pick the bottom, right? You don't have to try to essentially, snipe the exact bottom, that sort of thing. You can still get a nice entry while waiting for a confirmation and a pullback, right? But a lot of times I will, sometimes it is a little bit relative, it is a little bit situational, circumstantial to each bit of price action, right? But anyway, obviously we know why this is a key level. We've talked about that multiple times. We have been respecting this level, even right now, slightly. And same with this level down here. So again, our bias is bullish. We're still within this very annoying, very frustrating range, but you can just see we've had this pattern of these sort of erratic swings. And so what I'm looking for now is, like I said, if this just continues to retrace to the upside, I'm going to look for obviously some sort of pullback, and then at that point I would anticipate, depending on how high we go, that's a key. I could anticipate a break below this key level, and then further just consolidation within this massive range. Or, right, I would like to see a movement down here, and then we push back up, right? So um, not not too not too complicated, but I am actually a fan of where we are right now. Right, we saw this is our 4-hour level. We have been continuing to respect this level. Um, and just this, if we just isolate this right here, I'm a big fan of this because we come down into the level and instantly get a nice high volume bullish candle. We have a little bit of a gap actually, and so we may come down and sort of fill this gap in here, but we get a high volume push, uh, small push, but a high volume push out of this 4-hour support, and are immediately now making what looks like a healthy pullback. So we'll just have to see again. There's, it's not too complicated right now. It's we just sort of have to wait. But I've sort of been trying to focus on not being too opinionated while I am analyzing a chart. And obviously we have our bias, right? Like I am bullish. I am more than likely going to be looking for long positions, but I don't want to allow that bias to sort of cloud my judgment and my discernment, and make me uh, allow me to ignore things that I should be observing and noting, right? And so just because I have my bias and I have my ideas, my hypothesis, and all of that, we want to sort of be, uh, in my opinion, when we're not in a trade, we want to sort of be indifferent in a sense. So that makes sense. Um, right? We want to be observant and allow sort of whatever the market is going to do, right? Allow that, and then we react and we make the best, most logical, well thought out decision based on the price action, right? I don't want to sit here and say, exactly. Right here, I don't want to sit there and say this is exactly what's going to happen, and we're going to, come down here and retest and get a long position and go up here. I want to sort of uh, hope that makes sense. I want to sort of be observant and just sort of let the market initially do its thing, and then we go from there, right? We don't want to be in a rush. We don't want our heart rate to be up. We don't want to get too emotional, and get fidgety because we're not in a trade. Recently, if you were watching these videos and you were looking at the dates, I have not been taking that many trades. I've been taking a little bit less uh, trades less often, and as a result of that, yeah, I've had less trades, but I've had barely any losers at all. Not really any even worth noting. And my winners have been much better and much more consistent, much more precise. I've been much more confident in the entries that I'm taking. And so I'm sort of just trying to um, wait for the opportunities to come my way. You don't want to force the opportunities. When you force the opportunities, you get burned and you mess up, and you get bad results as a result of that. And so when you sit there and wait, everyone knows right after a certain while, you know what a good trade looks like, and we all know what a good trade looks like. And so I've sort of been trying to only take those trades where I can actually say to myself, this is a good setup, this is a good opportunity, and this is going to be a good trade. If it's something that I'm not too confident in, you don't want to trade just for the sake of trading. If you're going to do that, then you may as well, um, gamble, right? You don't want that to be gambling. So anyway, that's just a little introduction for this week. Um, yeah, we have a lot to. Hopefully, we get some good movement this week. Last week was a bit odd, like I said, but you know, hopefully we have a nice week. So, anyway, I'm gonna take a look at pound yen and USDN and a few other pairs. Actually, I've been not trading these other pairs, but just sort of looking at them, kind of trying to get used to the essentially the personality of the charts and sort of incorporate them into my analysis, at least for now. And yeah, if there's anything notable on there, we will talk about it. And yeah, we'll see. Probably by the morning, we should get some more nice development and a little bit more clear direction of where this is going. So anyway, we'll be back.
Okay, guys, so gold has some time has gone on, and gold has moved down a lot. So um, we did not get a short position down here, but what I want to point out is if we look at gold right now, we have um, dropped down into this level that we were looking at. If we go back to the weekly chart, right, I was talking about wanting to see gold come down into this level as a place for us to a likely area for us to establish a support to continue this move to the upside. So um, on the daily here, um, pretty strong candle. So what a lot of people could do is you could get into a long position now. Um, I would get into a smaller one, so a little bit less risk, and then you could have your stop loss below this structure down here. So that would look something like this. And then you look at your ratio here. We could target up to this high up here before we reversed, something like that. That is a good idea. What I will probably do is wait a little bit. I would like to see um, another movement to the upside off of this support and then a pullback, and then I would get in. I don't want to just get in right now because again, it's this could just keep going for a little bit further, right? So anyway, but I wanted to point out that we have reached this zone, and so from there, from here, hopefully we can have, excuse me, some nice bullish movement and get a nice pullback and get into a nice long position here. So, um, yeah, we're just gonna go from there. Maybe wait a little bit longer. The market's gonna open here in about an hour, and so at that point, we will probably um, we'll probably have a little bit of a better sense of direction here. So, anyway. All right, guys, so it is a Friday here. We are about to end the trading week and have gone into a long position here on gold. So we did have a nice reaction to this level down here, which is again what we were kind of talking about gold doing was coming down back sort of into this larger range here. Establishing a support at an area like this is what we were kind of hoping for and expecting. Um, and now we get a nice push up back off of this support, and we get a little pullback here back into the top of the zone, and now we're working our way back up. And so we're getting into a long position here with stops below this local recent structure, and then we're targeting just towards up here, towards the top of um, this little local high, or really a lower high relative to this move to the downside. So anyway, just a really simple position. I know it's Friday. Um, we'll probably have some fireworks to end the week, but I'm not entirely expecting this trade to reach its target by the end of the weekly candle. So anyway, just pretty decent. This is essentially, from a simple viewpoint, it's essentially a inverted head and shoulders formation, right? But really, what we're looking for is just the good price action in line with what our bias is, right? So anyway, we're gonna see how this plays out now.
All right, guys, quick little update on our gold position here. We've had a good bit of patience so far with this, and I do know that it is only Tuesday, but yeah, so the beginning of the week, um, there's a couple things to talk about here. The beginning of the week, we came up and sort of, for at least for the time being, respected this key level. Again, it's our 4 hour level that goes back quite some time. um, right, this level we've seen in a couple videos now, hopefully. So um, I come up and pull back off of that level. That would have been a nice shorter term short position, but obviously I was long at that point, and we did get a bit of drawdown here. Which is why it's good that our stop was below this structure, which is, like I said, it's sort of like an inverted head and shoulders formation. So our stop loss is below these two lows down here, but more importantly, the most recent one. So anyway, we come down, retest again on the lower scale, and then have a nice sell off, but we quickly regain support and we're now working our way up. So, as far as targets go, we could, in terms of adjusting things, um, let's zoom out a little bit and look at this from a much more zoomed out perspective. So, obviously, we have a big push down. We make a lower high here on the 4 hour chart and another push down. And this I'm not so worried about, because if you look at this price action here, it's sort of just it continually, um, making a new high after pullback. Um, and we never really get structure here, right? If you look at this, yeah, we push up much higher volume than this. This is sort of just a weak retracement. But here, after we come down, and remember, the beginning of the week, we were talking about, or actually, quite a while ago, we were talking about price coming down into one of these levels down, sort of in this area in um, the 2363 area, and us establishing support at that area, and that's what we get here, right? And so that's good. So that's what we were looking for. So when we come down and maybe slowly retrace off of this support here, um, right, we're looking for more of a larger scale pullback, right? I'm not um, constantly just looking for the uh, first area of support or resistance for us to respect and continue within the trend. We have to sort of think of things realistically, right? We're not just going to make a nice stair stepping pattern every single trade, right? So anyway, we come back up to this level. We pull back from the level because it is a nice resistance level, and then we quickly regain support and work our way back up. So I'm not looking at price action now as a scenario that would play out similar to this. I think, we established a nice structure here. I think what is maybe more likely now is either we just push up to where our target was, or we pull back into this level of 2398 level, around that area, and respect that, test it as support, hopefully respect that, and then work our way back up. But this would be a trade where I would be comfortable with moving stops to break even, maybe closing a little bit of it once we get up a little bit further, and then with stops at break even, just letting it go, that sort of thing. So, yeah, we'll just have to kind of wait and see. the next little bit what the price action looks like. But overall, um, overall a pretty nice trade here so far. Yeah, I think we could easily see maybe some pullback down into this level and then continue back up. But anyway, again, all this is just simple structure. This is nothing too complicated. I know a lot of people get very big and very in depth with all of the different terminology, and they like to really mark up their chart, mark up every little thing they see, and that's great. I have done that a little bit, but I've sort of again, I really just like to focus on the more I trade, I like to focus on just simple price action and minimal distractions on my chart. Just looking at the chart, right? That's why I never I'm very against using indicators. I think indicators are very stupid. I would never rely on something like you know all these different indicators that you see, and there's a lot here on TradingView, which is what I am on. But yeah, really, what you need is just the naked chart, and then you all you really need is levels marked on your chart. And um, yeah, I just haven't. I just like to keep things sort of not really minimalist, but sort of minimal things on my screen. So anyway, um, just a little update on the position, and we will see how this continues here. If we get a pullback, and we'll see what happens.
All right, guys. So we did get our target met here. So yeah, pretty good trade. We had our target here. We could have maybe moved it up a little bit, but like I said, I was talking about and thinking about maybe staying in the position with stops at break even, but I'm just completely out of the position right now. We can maybe what I'd rather look for is some sort of re-entry in the near future. But yeah, we did get we were talking about getting more of a pullback into the zone before we push up. We did get a little bit, but not really into the zone to retest as support, just sort of a um, really short-term pullback here. But yeah, just a really simple trade. We pretty much already went over it. But yeah, I mean, we're still working our way up to these highs, and I do think we're going to get some sort of a more larger scale pullback here in the near future. But um, overall, just a really good trade. You just have to trade what you're comfortable with, right? Um, if you're comfortable with a certain style and you've had consistency with it, then just stick with that and continue to do that. But really, my main thing, like I have said before, is um, really just focusing on the simple price action and making things as simple as possible. You don't need a million indicators. You don't need a whole bunch of annotations on your chart. If you're comfortable doing that and it's worked for you, then stick with it. But I like to, like I said, generally keep things more simplified, right? So anyway, that's all for now. Just a really good overall setup. Um, I would like to see. It's only Wednesday now, so I'd like to see how this next 2 days are of this week. Maybe we get more of a pullback here, and then we consolidate a bit, and maybe next week we get our big push to the upside. But overall, a decent setup and a nice trade. So anyway, we're still gonna be following along with the price action for the next couple hours just to see sort of what develops, and then we're gonna check out a couple other pairs as well and see if there's any developments or and setups on there.